Good evening, MC Clubbers. Today is Wednesday, 6th of May 2020, day 41 of total lockdown, day 6 of level 4. And if that's just too much to process, it's Blues Day, the 11th day of Maple Junior Dairy. Great show tonight. The technical challenge results, then some examples for next technical challenge, low key, bearing in mind that our immediate next challenge is deadline 10th of May, which is like now, and that's your product photography. And the low-key technical challenges for your 10th of June. We're then going to finish off with a fabulous video on David Yarrow, a world-renowned wildlife photographer who turns his photos into fine art and makes some monies from photography. Well, isn't that nice? So to the technical challenge results, bearing in mind that the Westville challenge results, your minimalism, is on the website under Gallery Westville Challenge, and is password protected with the new password, which is, like I would give out our password on a public video. So let's get going. There we go. Thank you to Leon Hayes from Amber Camera Club, who was the judge for the technical challenge. 1 star. Flower Power, 10 gold, Michaela Cosman. Nicely crafted image and the effect works nicely. Nice subtle color that's not too oversaturated. Compensation could be improved by cropping so that the flower is more off center. I think I said compensation instead of composition. Sorry, not redoing. Frame face, 9 silver. Although this topic is avant-garde and although there is nothing wrong with the creating of the image, the subject matter is more than just a tad weird. Nicely framed focal point. I am watching you, 9 silver. The eyes is optimally placed on the thirds and is strong in the image, but maybe not strong enough for a higher score. Mono cat, 10 gold, Michaela Cosman. The intensity of the cat stare is a strength in this image. The background is a bit busy and makes the cat a bit indistinct. Maybe a bit more contrast on the cat would help. Pencil select colors, 13 merit, Connell 80. A very strong image and the selective color is nicely thought out. The triangle shape forming an arrowhead and pointing to the left is very appealing. Skullduggery, 13 merit, Michaela Cosman. Very strong and effective image. The contrasts are strong and the red eye is very strong in the image. Even the center placement of the red eye is great. Two stars. Bird Protea leaves, 8 silver. This image has 2 distinct parts. The leaves look as though they have been over-sharpened and in general there is a lack of contrast and therefore a lack of detail. The overall pink hue could have been removed. Bowl of apples, 9 silver. Having 2 elements that show color has added to this image, but some of the technical work is not accurate enough and a bit messy. Piper, 9 silver. I'm not sure if Piper's eyes are that color or have been enhanced, but they don't look real. Because of the mono surroundings, the eyes are just too overpowering. Less is more. Racing to the Weir, 7 silver. An abstract image, I suppose it has some merit, but I don't think that this image has worked for this genre. Nothing is defined, it's all very busy. Red hot poker, 9 silver. Simple image with a good use of the technique, but the flower is not sharp. Window to the Soul, 11 gold. Tracy Rhodes. Nicely produced image. The blue is very strong centrally, but I suppose that is unavoidable considering the subject. Nicely processed. Three stars. Beer bottle litter, 7 silver. The technique, has not been well implemented as there are green leaves and grey leaves on the bottle. Your selection needs to be refined. The subject matter is not my favourite and the angle could surely have been improved. Try using different angles for the same shot. Jacket on chair, 12 gold, Joan Lindiger. Nice moody shot and the application of the technique is subtle and sensitively handled. Not sure about the red-pink edge, but still a nice shot. Jump for Joy, 8 silver. Lovely subject, but the effect is just too overdone. It is a busy image and the effect is added to that busyness. Lockdown Blues, 9 silver. Nice image with a strong mood. Pity the main subject is so central. The blue Japanese anime, I know I got that wrong, is not convincing. Muted Fireworks, 4 bronze. This is a great idea, but it doesn't fit the brief. This appears to be a full color image with a lot of black in it. There is no sign of mono detail at all, so to me it appears as a color image. Border is very strong. On the Tower, 7 silver. The idea is good and the effect is nicely applied. I'm a big fan of negative space, but in this instance, the left side of the image is so strong with so much detail that it completely unbalances the image. This is a pity because it could have been a good image. Reaching for the Rain, 10 gold, Paul Nordea. Nice idea, although the execution could have been a bit neater. I just feel the pink is oversaturated. This is how I see it. The pink flowers on a naturally coloured background are fine, and if the whole image has not been oversaturated in post, that's all well and good. The same pink flowers in a mono setting makes that pink look extra bright. So for the object of this exercise, maybe toning the pink down a bit would probably be a good option. Rising Amongst the Ordinary, 9 silver. The mono here is very subtle and that is not a problem, but it does not make the coloured sections a bit like a lighthouse beacon. Sadly, the two very strong coloured sections compete for attention and make it a bit uncomfortable on the eye. Sleepy Eye, 8 silver. Although this fits the brief, the image is a bit alien and it's a tad difficult to interpret the story. I don't like the colour around the edge. I'm going to say that all over again. I don't think the colour around the edge adds much value to the image. Social Distancing, 13 merit, Avril Janssen. Nice storytelling and the subtle colour is just right for this image. Sunglasses, 14 merit, Eric Bosman. What a magic image. The colour complements the image beautifully. The composition is great, showing strong straight lines that juxtapose against the round form of the glasses, even within the glasses. Great image, well done. Through the Grid, 13 merit, Eric Bosman. Great creative image, and here the central placement works well. The slanted diagonal lines create a tension towards the right, and this creates a positive sense of movement, making the central placement more unobtrusive. Having three distinct coloured areas does make the eyes jump a bit, but because they are all the same colour, they all relate to each other well. Top of the cluster, 9 silver. I think that this was a missed opportunity. The mono areas are very abstract and it's almost a bit difficult to see what is going on here. The coloured section was just the wrong choice of flower. I would have used one of the front facing flowers to restore colour into. That would have given the storytelling across the whole image a boost. Tugboats in harbour, 13 merit, Liesl Cooperthwaite. Very strong composition. The diagonal line and the three main subjects work well too for this strong element. Although the one boat is coloured and still forms part of a very strong grouping with the other two. Nice strong image with great monotones as well. 4 stars. Butterfly, 12 gold, Ronald van den Heever. The butterfly is beautiful and nicely processed. Just a pity it is a bit small in the frame and you could have been a bit more inventive with the composition. Dwarfsvlei, 13 merit, Doug Cooperthwaite. A very effective image. Here the colour helps to convey the story well. The image talks to me of time past that was prosperous, but the colourful red roof is all that remains of that time. Everything else is faded into obscurity. Great image. Honeybee, 9 silver. Although there is nothing obviously wrong here, the image doesn't convey a wow factor for a higher score. Odd Girl Out, 11 gold, Heidi Taylor. Very cleverly conceived image. The odd girl out on the spine of the book has a direct reference to the odd colour out of the red against the mono. Very clever. Well done. Purple crested Turco. I'm going to go with Turco. Yeah. 9 silver. The story here is not strong. Yes, it's a coloured Turco sitting in a very busy tree. Maybe that business is so strong that the only real way to see the Turco was to make everything else mono. I know you're all laughing. Too much nectar for me, 6 bronze. Here the story is all wrong, but I'm not here to question your artistic ability. Above all of this, though, is the fact that not much of the image is sharp and the bird is almost hidden amongst the contrasty shadows. Tree Frog, 10 gold, Nola Maring. Nice and clear main subject. Those eyes are amazing, but I think the image would have worked better if the whole frog was coloured. The background has a lot of noise. Triangles, 13 merit, Heidi Taylor. Stunning, plain and simple image. Not only has the author used the colour well, but the repetition of the shapes is very thoughtful and very clever. Understated, but very effective. Where there is a will, there is a way. 13 merit, Heidi Taylor. I get a warm and fuzzy feeling from this image. The judge, not me. It's very harmonious. The green between the stones and bricks has a purpose and it works well in this image. The strong lines and the soft shapes of the leaves works well together. Well done, Heidi. Yellow blossoms, 6 bronze. There's a lot of nothing in this image. The yellows are very strong, but the rest of the image is devoid of any real interest. 5-star. 16 red, 14 merit, Bertie Price. Very moody and very striking image. There is just enough detail in the monos to convey the full story, and that red just jumps out at you, smacks you in the face. Very strong red, but it works well here, taking into account the atmosphere inside a dark, dingy, smoky gambling hall. Nice image. Canna, 7 silver. Pretty red canna flowers, but the whole story of these dramatic flowers is lost in the way it's been depicted. Coloured rose, 12 gold, Des van Tonder. The coloured rose and stem almost depicts a real live reincarnation of the dead ghostly mono flowers in the background. The colour one is in focus and the mono ones are not, thus adding to the ghostly feel. Nice image. Dreaming of the 50s, 14 merit, Roger Fanner. Wow, a really stunning image. The whole feel of the image is very appealing, and the very subtle use of the colour in her eyes just elevates the image from a mono. Eye roll, 9 silver. A good enough picture of the flower. Yes, the story is about the red eyes and the movement of the head, but that is about where it ends. Eyes on stalks, 10 gold, Rob Hart. Stalk-eyed flies have these amazing eyes, and this image is very successful in showing this phenomenon. The way that this image is presented helps to convey that message. So you're going to see my mouse again because someone knocked at my door and I have to go to the second screen. And then, okay, but we're back on track now. Fallen Flower, 11 gold, Rob Hart. Again, this image tells the story of life, of colour in a decaying and dying world. The monotones are strong and the composition is 100%. Fender, 12 gold, Bertie Price. Another strong story here. It's not just a coloured plectrum of a guitar. Firstly, the red symbolises life and strength, and this juxtaposes nicely against delicate guitar strings. This shows the strength as well as the delicacy of the music. Got Him, 7 silver. Although the eye is drawn to the middle of the image where the colour is, what then spoils the image is the spectators that are in full colour. This image was just the wrong choice for this type of storytelling. I Heard the Angels Singing, 11 gold, Maxi Holder. Here is an excellent example of toning down the colour in a mono image. The softer monotones work well with the softer handling of the colours in this image. It does induce emotion, and it is totally relevant for the subject matter. Ice Cool Stylist, 13 merit, Roger Fanner. Gosh, the colour is so subtle here, but it is so effective in telling a strong story. The composition is great, the monotones are great, and it's a beautiful image. Jump, 8 silver. This is a PJ type of image, and this technique is just not what you would find in a PJ image. Adequately executed, but the image choice was not the best. Kodak, 13 merit, Bertie Price. Another strong story. This tells me of the progression from black and white photography to colour. That is the history of photography. The subtle grading of colour is beautiful, and the technique worked well in and for this image. Little Yellow Bird, 12 gold, Des van Tonder. The reserved handling of the colours in this image is really appealing. The contrast between the colour and the mono is very subtle, and this helps to convey the relevant story. The composition is great and the light is beautiful. Nasturtiums, I can say that, 9 silver. Very interesting composition in this image, and the detail is nice and strong. The 3 elements are optimal in any image, but having 3 separated from each other does make the eyes ping pong from one to the other. Race, 8 silver. Again, being a PJ image, this technique doesn't gel well. Adequately executed, but the image choice was not the best. The composition is not the best, as the most dominant feature is dead center of the image. Spool of red, 14 merit, there's Fantonda. Beautiful image that is so well thought out. The red is not glaringly bright, and it's just so great to see how the color is so well integrated with the mono. They become one entity and work well together. The detail is nice and sharp, and the mood created is just superb. Temptation in red, 13 merit, Roger Fanner. Very sensual and evocative, and the red is also ideal for promoting this cause. Very nicely presented. Love the chicken flesh on her butt, says the judge, not me. Okay, so now we get to, and the junior winner is Sunglasses by Eric Bosman. Well done, Eric, all the way from Aussie, New Zealand. Oh my God. He's in New Zealand. And the senior winner is Spools of Red, Des Fantonda. Okay, that's it, folks. I'm going to now swap over and I'm going to show you some examples for the low key challenge. So, onto low key. The deadline is 10th of June, and of course product photography is now 10th of May. So what is low key? A low key image is one that contains predominantly dark tones and colors. Just like high key images convey atmosphere and mood, and so does low key. High key feels airy and light, but low key is dramatic and full of mystery. Drama, dark, moody and broody and sultry, and low key leverages darks and contrasts. So how about that? So this is a Shutterstock image, but this is just to show you that if you want to see what technical challenge low key, high key, go into Shutterstock and just do a search for whatever it is at the moment. There we go. And then all your low key or high key, whatever we're doing, will come up and you'll see. Now, every now and again, you'll get something that's maybe not. I don't know about that. And as you go along and you can see, well, you know, Roger will be happy with the women's bodies. Well, I suppose all the men will be happy with the women's bodies. I'm not so sure about that as low key. As we're going through, these beautiful dogs. And there's a pug up here that I saw, and now he's gone. I don't know where he was. Oh, there he is. I mean, isn't that just gorgeous? All of those of you with dogs. And also remember that, you know, ideally these technical challenges were set up to, okay, now go out, and you've got 4 weeks to go out and take photos. But of course you can't go out, and it's quite limited. As long as the photo is taken after the 6th of November 2019, you can still submit it for a challenge. So I think this is a time when we need to go back into our libraries and find something that we can process a bit into the darkness. Okay, so there's a couple of examples coming up here. Gosh, that's lovely. That's really great. Okay, this is not low key. That's like Roger dressed up and Eric took a photo. I'm just going to go to the second page so you just see some more examples. So coming up, the horse, there's a hand. That's just like an everyday object, the corkscrew. For those of us staying at home, I'm not sure that's low key. That also just looks a little bit bright to me. But yeah, you can see, you can get the idea. You can get some lovely ideas here. Okay. The other thing you can do, of course, is just do a search for low key on Google, and all of these come up. I mean, that's just fabulous. There's feet, if someone's got really lovely feet. That's a really cool apple. Flower, a whole lot of flowers sort of coming up there. That's really, really nice. Those there. I saw as I scrolled down, I thought, if you don't have a dog, I don't know what that is. Toy Story, something or the other. And I saw a cat here somewhere, which I thought, well, and I don't know what that is either. That's Eric dressed up and Roger's taken a photo. Oh, there we go. That's a really cool cat. Low key, really, really nice. So lots of ideas there. Dogs again and hands, and so lots of ideas there. I have one article for you to read through, just a definition of low key, and I put that plus the Shutterstock link on the website page, so you can go and have a look there. There's a very lovely elephant. And this is the David Yarrow video. Enjoy. It's about 11 minutes.
We bring together the best photographers in the world.
Andy Warhol said my favorite color is white and my favorite color is black. So use the whites, use the blacks. Don't have 50 shades of grey. We'll have that as well, but use the blacks and use the whites. I got fascinated in sharks because I felt the sharks hadn't been photographed well. After about 30 hours dedicated in the water to this, I got the big shot of the shark and the seal, and I still think it's the strongest picture of shark predation that I know, and it's pin shark. And then someone said to me, did you see that picture in the Daily Telegraph? Can I get a big one from my office? Because I want anyone that comes into my office to be very scared of me, and the best way of doing that is have a big shark eating something behind my desk. He said, how much would it cost? And I said, I don't know, but we'll put it in a nice frame, maybe £5,000. And he said, okay, I'll have two. And that was when the penny dropped, that the way to make money from my kind of photography was in fine art, producing limited edition fine art prints that were aesthetically strong enough or evocative enough that people would put them on their wall. I think the mistake a lot of photographers, wildlife photographers make is that they go on a trip without any specific idea of what kind of African animal they're going to be shooting. And for me, you choose the animal and then you know where you're going to go to photograph the animal. And by far and away, the best place in the world to photograph elephants is Amboseli. Wildlife photographers, many of them use telephotos far too much. If you're going to be photographing a beautiful woman, you're never going to shoot her with a 400mm lens or even a 200 or 300. You shoot her with a standard lens or a wide angle. And it should be the same with animals. It's then just the logistical issue is how you get yourself in a position to do that whilst remaining safe. The great beauty of elephants is there's no animal where their predicted path can be determined with greater clarity and assurance than an elephant. They tend to walk in straight lines. So if you see a herd walking across a dry lake, you get 200 yards ahead of them and you know where they're gonna, within a yard, where they're gonna come. You've got the peak of Kilimanjaro peeking out over the top of the clouds. And the light's getting better every 5 minutes. These are probably not bad circumstances. You can see the big guy with that big tusk over there on the left. Sadly, that's about 8 grand in the local market, and that's 60 grand in China. You put the remote down, and you pre-focus, and then you get the hell out of there so that they're in no way detoured by you. And they probably don't see the camera until they're about 1.5 feet away from it, which is perfect because that's what you want. So you want proximity and a ground level perspective.
Okay, so I'm going to get out of the car. I'm going to set up a remote. Oh, let's need a bit of elephant manure. Okay, let's get out of here. Okay, let's go and grab it.
There's nothing I want to do less than photograph with blue sky and sunshine. I want moody, almost sort of impending doom skies, and you get that in Amboseli in October. It's the best canvas in which to paint with light and take pictures of anywhere in the world, I think. The behavior of elephants has changed because of cattle, because the Maasai brought their cattle in big numbers into the park, and that's resulted in more humans and more lions. So the elephants don't behave in the way that they used to, and lake crossings are rarer. I position scouts on the hills overlooking Amboseli Dry Lake, and as soon as they see the beginnings of a herd crossing the lake, we'll find out. And on this occasion it was the middle of the day, which doesn't tend to suit my style because the sun's too high, but gratifyingly there was quite a lot of cloud cover, and it was a big herd. It was 25 elephants, and I didn't even have my photographic clothing on. I was just hanging around in swimming trunks and loafers, but we charged there to the lake. Must have been going goodness knows what speed, and the series was about 15 minutes, but there was one lovely moment where I was lying on the ground, and the elephants were about 60 yards away from me, and they just didn't know whether to go left of me or right of me. They don't tend to charge there because there is no vegetation, so they're not surprised. They know the humans there. The time you've got to be careful with an elephant is when you surprise it. But in Amboseli, you're quite safe, relatively. And they just huddled together, and I knew as soon as when I pressed the trigger, I thought this composition is coming together rather nicely. And then when I got back, I knew I'd got a very big image. Well, my approach is twofold. Firstly, that you have to be close, and borrowing from Robert Capa of the pictures, if not good enough, you're not close enough. Ansel Adams also said that the lens looks both ways. It's truer and truer as the lens gets shorter and shorter. I don't think the lens necessarily looks both ways with a 400. It's more likely to look both ways with a 50 or a 35 because it's going right back into your soul. I think also if you're photographing a dangerous animal, if your line of sight is higher than the eyes of the animal, that immediately hints at an artificial encounter. It hints at the fact that you're higher than the animal, no more so than polar bears. And I've wasted so much time photographing polar bears because if a polar bear comes up to a boat and you photograph it from the deck looking down and the polar bear looking up at you, that's just pulp. There's nothing interesting in that photograph other than to show your kids when you get home. So we did a lot of research as to the best place in the world to photograph polar bears and for me to get close and be safe. And we found a place where, for about a week, there's very strange behavior in that the polar bears seem to be in collaboration with the humans because the Inuits are whaling and they bring whales in, and the bears now know that the humans are their friends because they can feed off the whale carcasses. And for about 2 weeks, you can get very close to the polar bears. And there's one picture I've got which it was printed in the Telegraph recently and sells very well, where I actually managed to take a selfie of myself in the polar bear's eyes because I was a foot and a half away, and I had an Inuit fisherman behind me saying, "I think you're okay with this one." And it was almost the ultimate example of putting trust in someone else because the polar bear was 2 foot from my lens. I think with lions, again, I want to photograph lions from the ground up. But a remote control is very much the way that I like to photograph dangerous animals. I can't really see any other way to do it. You've got to be a bit careful because the cameras can be eaten or Nikon are fed up with me because whenever I bring back a damaged camera, normally you've got all these boxes to tick, like dropped it or fell in the water, and I have to fill in new things like kicked by elephant. Or eaten by lion. And so they find it quite, whenever I go down and see them in Richmond, they go, which box are you going to take this time? But they quite enjoy it because I guess it's a different experience for them trying to mend a lion eating D4S or whatever. The key to strong photography of the kind that I do, not doing a fashion show from home, is access. It is about putting in the spade work, logistically and research-wise, to find yourself in the right position at the right time, to then use that conduit and use your heart and your brain and your eye. But those things are all secondary to getting yourself in that position, whether it be with an individual, whether it be with a dangerous animal, whether it be in a scene. And so I think the actual art of pressing the trigger is maybe 5% of the job. 95% of the job is finding yourself in the position where you want to then go and take the trigger.
I'm just trying to get the silhouettes with the dust flying up. This is quite scary.
Nearly. Bloody nearly. Not quite, I think, nearly.
I also admire photographers who understand that if they come back from a trip with 200 good photographs, that's too many. I think plurality is the bane of many photographers. I think I've taken this year, I think maybe 4 good pictures and maybe 2 really strong pictures that will stand the test of time. So that's 6 in 12 months. I know people would look and say, well, that's not very good, but the whole point is that's what you're looking to do. If it was that easy, how on earth can you be selling a picture for a huge sum of money if you can just leave Heathrow on Monday and take a picture on Tuesday? You can't.
So that's it, folks. I hope you were really inspired to go out and take some fun at wildlife photography, and as long as your camera doesn't get eaten by something. That's it. Over and out.